Alright guys, I don't like to start my videos by putting in the title urgent, but it sounds a little clickbaity, but it is actually urgent what I'm about to tell you right now. Because now is the time you want to be in crypto. Now is kind of the last opportunity you still have. You do not want to look back in a couple of years and slap yourself for not giving 100% right now. Because if you want to change your life, money is important. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but it's important. And you can really change your life, the lives of your families, the life of the people around you, of your child that you're about to get or already have. So I'm gonna show you a couple of very important things in my opinion about this Bitcoin chart and the altcoin charts as well. So welcome to the Fomo Factory. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos. Oh, little delay. I have to practice that a little bit more. Turn on the bell notification and let's take a look at what I am preaching about today. So at the moment of recording, but I'll drop this video as soon as I can, Bitcoin is doing very good. Bitcoin is sitting at $26,500. It tried to break out the last couple of days. We had a fake out, didn't work, got slapped back down again. But it looked like it has some fuel left in it. And, you know, maybe we get another rejection from here. But the same case, this is the time that it finally manages to push through. And if that happens, we can see way higher prices than where we are right now. I think 28 is definitely on the table then. But I want to show you a long-term perspective on Bitcoin. And I want to show you again why you might be a little upset when you are looking at your crypto portfolio right now. Why do I say that? Well, a lot of you guys are in altcoins. And if you look at your portfolio, you look at Bitcoin and you see like, whoa, crazy pumps. And then you look at your altcoins and you feel like, not that, spectacular. Yeah, it's very understandable. The Bitcoin dominance is pumping just as hard as Bitcoin. So I would like to show you a couple of things. But first, a long-term Bitcoin perspective, right? I said, you want to be in Bitcoin right now. Why do I say that? Well, the Bitcoin cycles haven't changed. So let me talk a little bit about the Bitcoin cycles before we're going to talk about altcoins, because I think the bottom is in. I think we are going to see way higher prices than this, and I'm talking about $400,000 probably next cycle, around that level. And I'm going to give you a reason why I say that. A lot of you maybe don't agree. Maybe some of you do agree. I'm going to just give you my opinion. And if you don't agree, totally cool, because everybody has its own thesis. But I always try to think like, okay, what if I'm wrong? So please try to think like, okay, what if I'm wrong? What if it does go to 400K? Am I prepared? Right? It's not impossible. Matter of fact, it's more likely than anything that ever happened so far, and that happened. The cycles so far is this right here. This is the cycle in 2014, 15, 16. And what we had was an accumulation phase where things went sideways, right? We have 4 phases in a cycle. Then we had the uptrend. We had a parabolic bull run. That's the uptrend. That's phase number 2. Then we had the distribution phase. This is where we kind of go sideways at the top range, right? We had that here. And then we have the 4th phase, and that's the downtrend, right? And the downtrend, again, the accumulation phase is where you buy. The uptrend is where you make money. It's maybe also where you buy a little more, right? Depends on where we are in that phase, actually. The distribution phase is where you take your profits. The downtrend is where you do nothing. Is where you build something for yourself to, at least not, really, you can trade. But when it comes to investing, yeah, why would you invest here, right? I mean, if we go down, then it's probably not a good investment. And then it starts all over again. Then we have the accumulation phase, which is super boring. And then a year before the halving, which is the red line, you'll see that we kind of start to pump until the halving happens. right? And then we have the upwards trend again. Here in this bull market, again, upwards trend. Then we have kind of a distribution phase, more blow off top. Then we have the downwards trend and the accumulation phase again. Year before the halving, going quite a bit up. We have the halving, parabolic bull run, distribution phase, big distribution phase, last bull run. Then we have the downwards trend. We have the accumulation again. And now a year before the halving, we go up slowly. And once the halving is there, parabolic bull run. So far, this cycle looks completely intact to all the other cycles. So I am not investing or putting my money in based on that this time is different. I said, in my opinion, the bottom is in. I got some people saying like, yo, but Bitcoin never been in a macro bear market and never been in a recession. And yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. However, the macro bear market is going on for a while already. And price-wise, this is really by far Bitcoin's best bear market so far. So, you know, although there is a macro bear market, people understand like, okay, so the traditional finance is not completely safe, right? We had the banking collapse, and what happened to Bitcoin? We had a big pump. So I don't know how much Bitcoin really responds negatively to that, to be completely honest. Now, Bitcoin never been in a recession before. That's definitely true. But first off, we don't know if we get a recession. There's a chance that we do get a recession, definitely. But we don't know if that's the case. So that's a gamble. Like you could say like, okay, I'm not going into crypto right now because there is a recession maybe coming. Yeah. And maybe that's a very good move because maybe there comes a recession and Bitcoin crashes really hard and you can buy very cheap right there. That's definitely the case. But what's also a possibility is that or there will be no recession, right? And Bitcoin won't have that big crash. And then what? You missed out. Then you did a capo right there. And then you missed out on a lot, right? That's too bad. Or there will be a recession, but the impact that it has on Bitcoin won't be as big as you might think. Because a lot of people already suspect that there will be a recession. And Eric Crown just said, I really much agree on that. If there's any bad news that's about to come, you can kind of assume that 50% of the price movement is already included. Right? It's like 50% is of the price, what Bitcoin is doing is already because of the news, what there is. And then the actual event has maybe an impact of 50% as well. Like, for example, you know, everybody was freaking about Mt. Gox. And that news was coming for a long time, especially this month. But if we look at the monthly chart for Bitcoin, yeah, in a bear market, bad news has a big impact. In my opinion, it's not a bear market anymore, but it's also not a bull market. It's whatever. It's sideways market, crap market, however you want to call it, right? That news about Mt. Gox, for example, had no impact at all. At least maybe if that news wasn't there, the price would have been higher. That could be the case, of course, but it's not like that bad, and we don't see a big price crash based on that. What's of course possible is that we do something, and maybe we had that example. Yeah, look, what's possible is that we do something like in 2015. And I'm not saying we should repeat 2015 or 2018, right? It's 2023, and we do what we will do in 2023. So it's not the same. But what we did in 2015, for example, we put in a bottom, clear bottom in January 15. And half a year later, August 2015, we put in a, well, pretty accurate double bottom. And that was also the low before we went up, right? But but there are some, differences, to be completely honest. And that's, we put in this double bottom right here, at around a year before the halving. That's where we are right now as well. And it could be that in this case it happens a little lower, of course, that's possible. This was obviously a big flash crash, and the impact was undone within a week already. So if we get a black swan, for reason soever, we can speculate on that. But there are so many unexpected things happening right now. Like, we'll see what it's going to be, if it's going to be something, right? Then it's definitely possible that we might see a double bottom. But that would be a day, 2 days maybe, and we get back up and just continue our way up again. But you do not want to expect a flash crash, right? Flash crashes are there to not be expected. Plus, the bottom comes when nobody expects it. Nobody, people were expecting this to be the bottom. Here, it didn't really feel like a bottom. We went down, but people were still, this was the FTX crash. People were still freaking out and like, oh, it's going to get lower. And it went sideways for a long time and people were like really undecided. It didn't feel like a bottom. So that could very well be the bottom, if you know what I'm saying. So a lot of people now expect a bottom, a new bottom. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. And don't listen to me like, oh, you're saying it doesn't happen, so it won't happen. Like, I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. I don't know. It's just my expectation. And I'm not looking at the news too much. I'm not looking at the macro too much. Of course, I am looking at the macro because you do want to know what's going on. But the charts first, then the news. That's just how it works. It sounds like the other way around, but it's actually not. And if you look at the charts, there are too many things suggesting that the bottom is in. A lot of things suggest that it's not. But we are getting so much up right now, and Bitcoin is really actually showing some strength right now. And only like there are a couple of things on this chart alone that I can show you. That, like, if we look at, we broke the bull market support band, right? And we didn't break it like we broke it back here, where it was like, fake out, got back under it. We broke it, we retested it, and we bounced off of it quite hard. It doesn't mean we cannot get below it, but the longer we are above it, the more confirmation it is that we are staying above it. We broke the downwards trend. So even like I said, if we do get a new bottom, it won't be like slow, like 15K, 12K, 10K. It will, if it happens, in my opinion, will be a flash crash. That you have to be very quickly on and get back above. Because even the bears know the downtrend is over. That's clear, right? This was the downtrend. That's over. We are now going sideways. So that's over. Also, we're above the 50 weekly moving average right here. And what's also very interesting is if you look at the monthly stochastic RSI, where we are right now, this happened twice before in crypto. And it happened here. And once we got out of it, as you can see right here, there was no fake out and we did not get back below it again. We got out of it and we got out of it, right? And if you look what happened to the price at that moment, we got out of it. All right, so that's very clear. And this was the flash crash right here. That was when we were still oversold, right? In this area right here. That's not what we are right now. The momentum is showing some very more bullish momentum. Same here in 2018-19, we were oversold, right? That was during the downwards trend. We got out of it, and we really got out of it, right? And that's also where the bull market started, right? Now also, we are clearly out of it. Like we have now 1 month, 2 months confirmation, after this month, 3 months confirmation. that we left this area. And again, it's not like it didn't happen before, so it can't happen now as well. Of course, this time can be different, but yeah, if you're gonna base everything on that, then you shouldn't be looking at charts anyway, in my opinion. Can we still go to 18K or whatsoever? Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, that's possible, for sure. I think this is a year where we are going to get really frustrated. I'm not being mega bullish right now or anything. I mean, this was a clear year. We are losing money, right? And people that bought these dips thought like the bottom is in and got a relief rally before we saw way lower lows. That was also super frustrating. But I think this is the year that shows us like, okay, we are going sideways right now. And we made a new high and blow, got back slapped down again. And then the bears feel like, we're going to make new lows and then bop to the upside. I think it's going to be very unexpected movements this year. So be a little prepared for that, I would say. So, that's one. But when it comes to altcoins and when it comes to my longer term Bitcoin price prediction, because the point of this video is you want to be in crypto right now. Like I said, we have these 4 years cycles, and these 4 year cycles, they work so far, right? We had cycle, we had a cycle, we had a cycle, and it all plays out so far. So when it comes to that, the market is kind of predictable on the long term until it isn't, right? This is going to change sometime. Plus, we do have diminishing returns, right? So here it was very easy to make a lot of money on Bitcoin. Here as well. And in the next cycle probably as well. But it's going to get less and less and less. If you are not here right now, if you are like, I can't speak to you, because if you are not watching this video, then you're wasting your opportunities. So if you are watching this video, you are one of the few people, and really, it sounds stupid and emotional, but I'm super, super proud of you, because this is a very tough time. This is a time where a lot of people give up, where a lot of people don't watch this kind of stuff, because I know people as well that bought here, and they feel like, best case scenario, they feel like, okay, yeah, whatever, I lost my money, I'll see when I play even. But on the other hand, if you bought here, come on, be here as well, right? Because you bought here because you wanted to make money in the first place, right? Now you only care about playing even, so you kind of gave up already, right? If you are, still thinking about it anyway. Also, again, this chart right here shows you exactly, this is the chart of what I just said. People gave up, right? And there's actually a chart for that. And it shows you that you are one of the few people that actually gave up, right? A lot of people are coming back right now. As I can see, the social risk is getting up a little bit, right? So this is the social risk based on the YouTube views, subscribers, Twitter analysts, Twitter exchange following, and layer ones. Overall, since May 2021, this has been declining pretty hard, right? And we didn't go that low as where we were before. Will we ever get there? I don't know. If we do get such a boring year, I expect this to, go to the downside. And I mean, if you put a moving average over it of, let's say, 30 days, yeah, you see that it's like still, it's now getting a little flat, but it's still kind of going straight down, basically, right? So people give up. Although, look, here the price was at its lowest, and since the price has been going up, people are giving up, right? Because people don't trust these pumps. Apart from that, they don't care about these pumps because they feel like, whatever, it's not sustainable anyway, right? And maybe it's not, but if it's not, then that's an opportunity, because 2 weeks ago, last week, we could have bought Bitcoin for $19,500. Now it's $26,500. So on the safest asset, you could have put in some money and you still made a 35% gain. So if you had $1,000, you could have bought the most safe thing in crypto and you would now have $1,350. It is easy money. If you, of course, buy the bottom and sell the top, like it's not that easy. But the possibilities are there. The market is offering you. All you have to do is take that chance. So you want to be here. You want to be here. In this crypto bear market in 2018, you know, let me put it like here. In 2016, where we still had around, you know, a bottom, give or take, people didn't care, right? People didn't care. You'll see that social risk was like flat, like no pulse. Nobody gave a shit. Look where the price was. That's the best place you could have bought Bitcoin. And kind of for Ethereum goes the same, right? It goes for every crypto, basically. But here's where people weren't involved. And once the price goes up, you see that the social risk is going up as well. So here, everybody was all of a sudden there. Yeah, but then you are already too late. People like the top of the people interested was after the Bitcoin peak. It should be here. This bear market as well. The price was at its lowest point right here. People also, they weren't there, right? And once the price got up, people started to care again, right? Your job is to try to flip your mindset the other way around. That's how you make money in crypto. Unfortunately, again, I can't speak to the people that are not here. So if you know anyone in that was involved in crypto or knows about crypto, but maybe says like, yeah, I don't really care, please show them this video. Please show them this video. This chart is the living proof that you make money in crypto if you are there when nobody else is. Because the chart is low and flat because nobody is there. Nobody's buying, right? What's your advantage if you are buying when everybody else is as well? What's there to gain? My outlook for Bitcoin, to give a little perspective on what I expect. You know, short term could go anyway. Very short term, we are definitely showing strength right here. Definitely showing strength right here. We are now sitting at the resistance. I would not come. I won't be surprised if it gets rejected again. But on the other hand, at some point we have to break it, and it could be today. You know, we don't know. So I'm not really trading this right now. If I would have traded this, I would put in a short on Bitcoin with a very tight stop loss. But I'm busy making a very, very big masterclass on trading, on really, you know, because there are multiple ways to make money with crypto instead of only investing, of course. Like in this area, the last couple of months, you could have flipped your $1,000 to, well, you can make hundreds of dollars every single day if you know how. And I'm so active with my YouTube channel, so I'm not doing that a lot. I'm going to do that a lot again, and I'm gonna take you with me. But my macro outlook. So the DXY, sorry, the S&P is important. And sorry for this being a longer video, but I really hope you watch it from the complete beginning to the end, because this is just important. Sorry to put it like that, but it is. So the DXY, the S&P 500 is basically the leading stock. And what happens right here, let me put it on the daily, by the way. What happened right here is that the S&P was in a bear market as well since the end of 2021. We were sitting at 4,800 and we went all the way down to 3,500, give or take. 27% down. During the COVID crash, to give you a little perspective, during the COVID crash, we went down 35%. Right? In this bear market in 2018, we went down 20%. We had, I don't even know if you can call this a bear market, by the way. Are there any other examples? Well, maybe a little this right here. We went down 14%. So, you know, it's like an average move, right? But we are clearly had a bear market on the S&P as well. Now, this is a very beautiful example because rejection, 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 and maybe a little rejection right here. So a lot of rejections, and then we broke out. We had a clear retest and we went up again. So that's really beautiful to see. This is the prime example of how such a chart could look like. We got back under it again though. And now we're up. So we're struggling a little bit with this trend line right here. It's not enough confirmation just yet. My worst case scenario on the S&P 500 is that we do make lower lows. And the first target is $3,700, give or take. And then it's around $3,500. There are people expecting $3,400. I can see that happen, but let's see how this plays out first. It's also a fact of looking at the S&P because, yeah, macro is kind of leading, right? Of course, still. But, yeah, Bitcoin is also decoupling at a certain point, right? But if we, see the S&P doing well, it's better than it doesn't do well. So keep this chart in mind. It's important. My macro Bitcoin outlook. I'm not going to back up again all the charts that say the same thing. I made a video about that a while back. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to show you one chart that shows what my expectation is for Bitcoin. So again, we have Bitcoin in this 4 years cycle, right? Once we get the halving, we get a parabolic bull run. So far, it's just what happens, right? And a year before the halving is where we already pump. So, we'll see what it's going to bring in this year. But okay. Year before the halving, we have the halving, parabolic bull run. We now have the halving planned for around March 2024. So it's coming in a year, right? So in my opinion, if this is not any different this time, and if the cycle is still intact, we have around a year to prepare. And then time is just up. Then you have to wait another 4 years. But then the returns are going to be, less, of course. So the time is right now, basically. Don't waste it, please. So this should be the halving right here. And if it all plays out, then at around the end of 2025 is where we will top out. Right? We had the top end of 2013. We had the top end of 2017. We had the top end of 2021. So do we have a top end of 2025? Yeah. So far, that's what we could expect, right? Based on this. Where could we be then? Well, this is one chart that shows something like that. Right, and I know the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and we don't know when it's going to end, of course, right? But so far, since 2017, which is the last 6 years, this is intact, right? All we need is another 2 years to keep it intact. If that's the case, in this bull market, we went to the upper side of this parallel channel. In this bull market, we went to the upper side of this parallel channel, right? We bounced off of in this bear market, we bounced off of it perfectly. I've first drawn it like this, and I've drawn it a little bit over here. But we had a perfect bounce right here, and we went up. Perfect, prime example again. So if we, I don't know what this is. If we again go to the upper side of this channel at the end of 2025, it gives Bitcoin a valuation of around $400,000. Is it unrealistic to think that's going to happen? No, of course not, right? Because we are just following history. We're just following the trends. We're following the charts. This is what it says so far. So this is the most realistic outcome there is. It sounds very unrealistic because we are now struggling all the time, like 20K, 25K, or maybe 28, right? And if you then hear an amount of $400,000, you'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you have to remember, I'm talking about something 2.5 years away from now, I'm not talking about today or tomorrow, next week or whatever. 2.5 years from now, in a bull run, in a parabolic bull run. That's what I'm talking about. And again, it sounds unrealistic, but from the bottom up till around there, that's a 25x for Bitcoin. 25x. But also, then again, if we look at the bull run in 2011 till 2013, what did we had? We had slightly more than that, right? If we look at the bull run in 2015, 17, what did we had? Way more than that. So there were a lot more unrealistic targets. Like if you would have said earlier, like, oh, Bitcoin is going to do 100x or 120x. That's, actually 4 times as unrealistic than what I'm saying right now. And it happened twice. Just saying. So yeah, I can definitely see that happen. And if Bitcoin just goes to like $200,000, that would be my bearish target. But it's still a nice target, right? Eventually, Bitcoin will be over millions. Not next bull run, though. What does it mean for altcoins? To wrap it up, I don't want to make it too long, but I need to show you this. I said a lot, and on yesterday's video as well, be careful with altcoins, right? Because Bitcoin is pumping right now. Look what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin is doing like super great right now. See, we have a very big ass green candle. But like I said, if you look at your portfolio, you probably feel like, meh, how come? This is the Bitcoin dominance. It's completely skyrocketing right now. What that means, the dominance that Bitcoin has, when you compare it to other assets in the crypto space, aka altcoins. So, altcoins are heavily bleeding against Bitcoin. Again, I can show you. If you, for example, again, look at, ADA, historical altcoin, went through a lot. It's a good example, right? If you look at ADA Bitcoin, what's doing? It's putting in lower lows as we speak. And not just a lower low, it's in a complete free fall right now. So ADA holders, rest in peace. It's not like, why in the world would you want to hold Cardano right now? If you do, then you have not taken a look at the charts. Sorry to put it like that, but or you just don't care about losing money, right? Because it's in a free fall since September 2021, right? So since 1.5 years, there was no good time to buy Cardano. That's basically what it is, right? If you look at Cardano USDT, it's a little different, right? Still going down a lot, right? Still going down a lot. But it's at least 40% from its low. But therefore, I said you could better be in Bitcoin right now because, one, well, you are making money right now. And two, if you want to buy Cardano, well, on the dollar version, you already missed out on 40%. On their Bitcoin pair, you are now buying the bottom, right? The bottom. And it doesn't mean that there won't be a new bottom next week, but for now you're buying the bottom, right? And, also something else, Bitcoin, like I said, might have found its bottom, right? I think this was the bottom, 15.5K. Let's assume it is. That happened in around, 20 November 2022, right? It doesn't mean that altcoins can't find new bottoms. Let's take a look at the bear market the last bear market. We bottomed the 10th of December 2018. That was the bottom for Bitcoin, right? So if you would have assumed like this is the bottom, okay, let's buy altcoins. Well, 10th of December 2018, if you look at Cardano, that's here. So you would have bought Cardano right here. But if you look right here, March 2020, so 1.5 years later, that's where Cardano found its bottom. And it's not a small difference. It's a 36% difference. And also, if you look at Cardano Bitcoin, it's even worse because this is 2018, December 10. This is where Bitcoin found its bottom. But Cardano Bitcoin bottomed here. Right? And that's a difference of 50%. So if you bought Cardano right now, you would have missed out on 50% extra. Right? And that's a lot. Because if you would have bought Cardano here, yeah, congratulations, you made a 7x. But if you would have bought it here, you would have made a 16x. That's a huge difference. Huge difference. And the risk that you take if you apply this by buying Bitcoin and later on buying altcoins, the risk that you take is that Cardano won't find a new bottom because the market is going up. AKA your Bitcoin will moon as well. That's the worst thing could happen. Unless there will be an alt season only run. But that's now not the case, as the Bitcoin dominance is not high enough to go down so hard that altcoins completely wipe out Bitcoin, right? We could, if we get up around here and then go down while Bitcoin is still doing okay, see a short-term small alt season kind of rally, right? But the real alt season is this, where we really go down. So, preach, preach, preach. It's been long enough. I've bored you maybe, but on the other hand, this is something you should know, in my opinion. The altcoin market is now just not ready. It's not ready. So what I'm doing right now, nothing. I'm not buying Bitcoin. It's at its high of this cycle. Am I buying right now? No, just you buy the lows. You buy the lows, not the highs, right? Am I buying altcoins right now? Also, no, definitely not. I think this is the total 3. It's in this downward trend right here. These usually break out to the upside, but I think we could go here as well, right? So let's see how the coming months play out until the summer. Buy Bitcoin. So I'm saying to myself, otherwise you can sue me for giving you financial advice. It's not, so don't sue me. But I won't buy Bitcoin. And when the Bitcoin dominance is high enough, I'm going to buy altcoins with my Bitcoin. Now, I must say, I expect it to go up around here. It could definitely be, because this was quite of a hard pump, that the Bitcoin dominance will do something like this. And that we will see altcoin Bitcoin pairs go up. So if you have some Bitcoin and you want to take that gamble, you can buy some altcoins with your Bitcoin, of course. But that would be a short-term trade. In the longer term, I expect this thing to go higher. Right? Maybe not here, but at least here. So definitely don't get rid of all your Bitcoin is what I would suggest. I'm tired. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. If you oh, by the way, I'm doing a giveaway. I'm giving away $1,000 so you can buy a Delysium DMA, and that goes for the people that bought a Delysium node after March the 15th. But I left a message in the Fomo Factory Telegram group, so be there. Links in the description. There will be a second prize of $250 and a third prize of $150 as well. And that's for everybody to participate that ever bought a DMA. So we do not rule anything out. So be part of that group. Join 200 members right now. I haven't promoted it a lot, but the people that are there, thank you. The people that are not there yet, be a part of it. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna leave it right here. Have a very nice day. See you tomorrow. I've got some very cool videos coming up this weekend. Trade safe, and I'll see you then.